If you're planning a move to Sherman, Texas, and you have only budgeted for your mortgage and maybe your utilities, I need you to stop right now and watch this entire video before you sign anything. Because there are costs that are going to hit you in the first year in Sherman that most realtors never bring up. Today, I'm covering 7 hidden costs that catch Sherman, Texas buyers off guard. And I'm saving the biggest one for last because it's the one that I see cause the most stress after closing, and almost nobody talks about it. My name is Amanda Phillips, and I've lived in Sherman, Texas for over 20 years. I'm a local realtor with Phillips Property Group, and I have helped hundreds of families make the move here from all over the country. Okay, hidden cost number 1, and this one hits out-of-state buyers especially hard. It's property tax reassessment. Here's what happens. You do your research, you look at the current tax bill on the home you're buying, and you build your monthly budget around that number. That seems completely reasonable. The problem is that in Texas, once a property sells, Grayson County can reassess it based on the new sales price. So if you bought a home that was previously taxed at a lower assessed value, your tax bill in year 2 could look different from what you saw on the listing. I always tell my buyers, do not budget based on the seller's tax bill. Budget based on what your purchase price times the local tax rate is going to look like. I can help you run that number on any home you're considering. That's exactly the kind of thing we go through together on a consultation call. More on that at the end. Hidden cost number 2 is HOA fees in new construction communities. And this one surprises a lot of buyers because the fees are not always front and center during the sales process. Sherman has some beautiful master plan communities. Places like Heritage Ranch, Bel Air Village, and Pebblebrook are growing fast, and they're attracting a lot of relocation buyers. What people sometimes don't fully account for is these communities come with HOA fees that are paid monthly or annually on top of your mortgage. But here's where it gets a layer deeper, and this is the part that almost nobody explains to buyers coming from out of state. Many new construction communities in the Sherman area are also located within what's called a PID or a MUD district. A PID stands for Public Improvement District. A MUD stands for Municipal Utility District. These are special taxing districts that developers use to fund the infrastructure of a new community, things like roads, water lines, drainage systems, and utilities. So here's what that means for your budget. You could be looking at a home with a base property tax rate, and then on top of that, an additional PID or MUD assessment that adds anywhere from a few hundred to potentially over $1,000 a year to your tax bill, depending on the community. The tricky part is that this does not always show up clearly on the listing. It's not hiding exactly. It's a matter of public record. But it's also not something that gets highlighted in big, bold letters during the sales process. I always tell my buyers, before you fall in love with a new construction community, let me look up whether it sits inside a PID or MUD district and what that assessment currently looks like. Hidden cost number 3 is one of the most common budget busters I see, and that is new construction upgrade costs at the design center. You tour a model home. It's gorgeous. The countertops are stunning. The flooring is beautiful. The fixtures are exactly what you pictured. You fall in love. You put down a deposit. And then you go to the design center to make your selections, and you realize that almost everything you loved in that model was an upgrade. I've seen buyers walk into a design center appointment expecting to spend $10,000 and walk out having spent $50,000 or more. Before you ever tour a model home in Sherman, ask the builder specifically what is and is not included in the base price. And if you're working with me, we'll go through that together before you ever set foot in a design center, so you're not making emotional decisions under pressure. Hidden cost number 4 is commute cost. And this one matters a lot for buyers who are planning to work in the Dallas-Fort Worth area while living in Sherman. Sherman sits about 65 miles north of Dallas. On a good day, that's a manageable drive. But if you are commuting 5 days a week, you need to actually sit down and calculate what that costs you. For some buyers, the trade-off is absolutely worth it because of what their dollar buys them in Sherman versus closer to Dallas. But you need to go in knowing the full cost, not just the mortgage payment. Hidden cost number 5 is flood zone insurance. And this one genuinely shocks people when it comes up during the lending process. Not every property in Sherman is in a flood zone, but some are. And if the home you're buying falls into a designated flood zone, your lender is going to require flood insurance, and that is a separate policy on top of your homeowner's insurance. Flood insurance costs vary depending on the property and the coverage level, but it can add anywhere from a few hundred to over $1,000 a year to your housing costs. That's not nothing. The important thing is to find out about this early, not the week before closing. When we're looking at properties together, I always check the flood map status up front, so there's no surprises. If a home is in a flood zone, it does not mean you shouldn't buy it. It just means you need to factor that cost into your decision from the beginning. Hidden cost number 6 is one that catches buyers coming from the suburbs completely off guard, and that's internet and utility services in more rural parts of the Sherman area. If you're relocating from Frisco, Plano, McKinney, or anywhere in the DFW suburbs, you're probably used to having multiple high-speed internet providers competing for your business. That's not always the reality in parts of Grayson County. Depending on exactly where your home is located, especially if you're on a larger lot or in a more rural setting, your options may be limited. And in some cases, getting services set up requires installation fees or equipment costs that you're not expecting. Before you close on any property in the Sherman area, verify what internet providers service that specific address and what the installation situation looks like, especially if you work from home. This is a non-negotiable thing to confirm before you sign. And now, here's cost number 7, the one I promised to save for last. And this is the one I see cause the most financial stress for buyers who bought new construction, specifically what happens when your builder warranty expires. Most new construction homes in Sherman come with a builder warranty. Typically, it's a 1-year warranty on workmanship, a 2-year warranty on systems like plumbing and electrical, and a 10-year structural warranty. Here's what buyers do not think about. They move into a brand new home, everything's covered, and they stop thinking about home maintenance costs because nothing's broken yet. They do not build a maintenance fund. They don't budget for repairs. And then year 2 or year 3 hits. Something goes wrong that's outside the warranty window, and they have no cushion. New construction does not mean no maintenance costs forever. It means your maintenance costs are deferred. My advice is simple. From day one in your new home, set aside 1% of your home's value every year in a dedicated maintenance fund. Do that, and you'll never get caught off guard. None of these costs should scare you away from Sherman, Texas. This is still one of the most affordable, most livable, and fastest growing areas in all of North Texas. The value you get here compared to what you would pay in Frisco or Prosper or McKinney is genuinely remarkable. So I do free 20-minute consultations, and I mean genuinely free. No pressure, no pitch at the end. We get on a Zoom call. You tell me what you're looking for and what your budget is, and I build you a realistic cost picture for your specific move to Sherman. Not a generic number, your number. The link to book that call is in the description below. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps other people find this content when they're doing the same research you're doing right now. Subscribe if you want more honest, local insight about Sherman, Texas. And if you want to know more about Sherman, here's a few videos I recommend.